Dear students, welcome to School of Finance and Commerce, Galgotias University. So, this is the second topic of Unit 2 of International Finance. In this topic, we will study about the exchange rate theories. So, let us start now. These are the two objectives of this lecture. This lecture will going to help you in understanding and develop the understanding of the theories of foreign exchange. You will also get to know about the various day-to-day examples pertaining to these theories of foreign exchange. Now, as far as the contents are concerned, first of all we will discuss the exchange rate theories. Then we will move upon the theory of purchasing power parity. Then we will discuss the relative form of purchasing power parity. And then finally we will discuss the theory of interest rate parity. So, exchange rate theories. It is the traditional approach. We also call them as the elasticities approach. They are based on the flow of goods and services. It has been assumed that equilibrium exchange rate is there where the imports balances the exports of the country. If at any point of time the imports exceeds the exports, or we can say the trade deficit, then the exchange rate will fall, which in other words means the domestic country will be depreciated. Now, if we talk about the exchange rate theories, then in such situation the country's exports will be cheaper in case of depreciation of the depreciation of the currency of that country. The exports will become cheaper to foreigners and imports will be costlier for the residents of that country. The result is that the nation's exports tend to rise and the imports tend to fall till the balance is restored. The speed of the adjustment will depend upon the degree of responsiveness of the trade towards changes in price. Assuming a case of full employment phase in the nation, it is advised that the domestic resources of the nation be shifted towards production of export-oriented goods and services. Now, the theory of purchasing power parity. It is one of the most controversial theory. It is based on inflation exchange rate relationship. In its absolute form, it is also called law of one price. This theory suggests that the price of similar products of two different countries should be equal if they are measured in a common currency. If there exists any difference, then the demand should shift from one country to another in such a way that the price will have to converge. Now, examples of purchasing power parity. Suppose a product of the same quality and size is produced both by India and China. As per the theory, if measured in a common currency, the price of the product in India will be equal to that in China. If the price in China is lower than that in India, then demand for the product will increase in China and decrease in India. Decrease in demand will ultimately lead to decrease in price in India till they equate each other. Realistically, this theory in its absolute form does not actually happen because of market imperfections brought about by different levels of technology, cost of production, taxation schemes, transportation costs, etc. Now, relative form of purchasing power parity. It is an alternate version of purchasing power parity and it does account for the imperfections that may exist in the market. This form of the theory acknowledges the fact that prices of similar product of different countries will not necessarily be the same, even if measured in a common currency. However, it states that the rate of change in the prices of similar products in different countries will be somewhat similar when measured in a common currency. Here the assumption is that the transportation costs and other trade barriers remains constant. Assume that the two countries have zero inflation and the current inter-country trade or the exchange rate between the two countries is in equilibrium. Then with the passage of time, both the countries will experience some inflation and the exchange rate or trade between the two countries will automatically adjust itself in such a manner so that the difference in the rate of inflation will be offset. In such a situation, the prices of the products in the two countries will appear similar to its citizens. This will mean that the consumers will note very little difference in their purchasing power when compared between these two countries. Conclusion of the relative form of purchasing power parity is that the change in the exchange rates is equal to the difference in inflation rates, which is almost neutralize the effects of each other. Why this purchasing power parity does not hold good? Exchange rates are also affected by factors other than the inflation differential. They may be income level, government controls, or interest rate. Assume the inflation rate in India to be 5% above to that of Japan. Based on this information, the purchasing power parity would suggest that the INR should depreciate by 5% against the Japanese yen. Now, if the Indian government has imposed restrictions on imports from Japan, then the Indian consumers and firms will not be able to adjust their spending in reaction to the inflation differential. Therefore, the exchange rate will not adjust itself in reaction to difference in the inflation rates. In the early 90s, many European countries had higher inflation than the US. Yet, the currencies of these countries did not depreciate against the dollar. This was because of the fact that very high interest rates in these countries attracted large capital flows from the US investors, thus defying the theory of purchasing power parity. In the same period, Hong Kong, Singapore and South Korea had quite higher inflation rates than the United States. But their currencies did not depreciate against the dollar because of the governmental policy of the US to capitalize in the virgin markets to these places. Very early stage of the ACC, this was one of the reasons for adopting fixed exchange rate system. The purchasing power parity suggests that as soon as the prices becomes relatively higher in one country, the other country will discontinue importing from that country and will shift to the domestic resources. Here it should be pointed out that it is not necessary that there will be domestic resources available in quality and quantity. However, it should be understood that in a long run of observations, it has been found that the exchange rates have been affected by many more factors and at different intensity levels. These affecting factors have actually offset the impact of each other in the long run. Thus, it is concluded that the controversies of the purchasing power parity theory have always stood their ground in the short run. In other words, the purchasing power parity does not hold good in the long run. So it is only meant for the short run. Now next is interest rate parity. This theory provides a linkage between the foreign exchange market and the international money markets. Concluding observation of the theory is that the difference in the international interest rates on securities with similar risk and maturity should be equal to but opposite in sign to the forward discount or premium for a foreign currency. Now let us take the example of interest rate parity. Assume that an investor has $1,000. Now if the investor chooses to invest in a dollar money market instrument, he would earn the dollar based rate of interest. He may however choose to invest in a Swiss franc money market instrument which would naturally be of the same risk profile and the same maturity period and thus earn returns as per the francs based interest rates. To do this, he would be required to exchange the dollars to francs at the spot rate of exchange, then invest the francs in a franc money market instrument. Next, if he want to avoid any risk of change in the exchange rate, he would enter into a forward transaction to sell all those francs, period being the period of the investment. At the end of the forward transaction period, he would convert the resulting proceeds again back to the dollars. Now assume that the returns he would have got if he had directly invested in a dollar based money market instrument is $200, thereby making the amount to be $1,200. The final outcome of the investment he actually made in franc based money market, which is finally converted into dollars, is also $1,200. Let us assume this. In such a situation, it seems that the return in terms of dollars are equal between the two alternative money market investments. Here, the spot and forward rates are said to be at interest rate parity. The transaction is called as covered because the exchange rate for converting the francs back to dollars are logged by the forward transaction. Therefore, if the result of the two alternatives is equal, it will be found that the difference in the interest rates of the two separate money markets is actually offset by the difference in the spot and forward exchange rates. Now, these are the three self-assessment questions on the basis of our learning of this lecture. So, the students are supposed to answer these questions. Question number 1 is, discuss in detail the purchasing power parity theory. Question number 2 is, give a brief overview on the relevance form of purchasing power parity. Then question number 3 is, briefly discuss the theory of interest rate parity. Now, these are the references from which the material to prepare this lecture has been taken. Thank you so much for your patience listening. Now, if any of the point is not clear to any one of you, or you want to seek more knowledge or more clarity in any of the point, then in that case you are free to contact me at any point of time. Thank you once again.